One of the more popular videos on this channel is called How I Finally Benched 315. And what a lot of the comments are is basically people talking about their journey to try to get to 315, which is super cool. Then there's a couple of questioning or negative comments, if you will, which I don't mind, but people are saying things like, oh, bumper plates are lighter, if it ain't steel, it ain't real, and I basically want to debunk that today.
But steel's heavier than feathers.
So before I opened Wallace Fitness Center, I was contracted out from several different gyms. And what I noticed that some of the people that I was working with for a long time, they were at the upper echelon of their strength potential, they would have inconsistent days, which makes sense. I mean, if you're operating at what you're capable of, that happens. But then I started to think maybe it was an equipment issue. So what I did is I would go through the gym and I weighed all of the plates. And at the gym I was working with, one of the gyms I was working with at the time, was all old school metal plates. And what I found was that there was variability between them. I don't know if it was because some of them were rusted, I don't know if from banging them on the ground there were pieces that were chipped off, but we started to see inconsistencies in the plate. So I've measured every single plate, weighed every single plate, and I've marked them, the ones that were exactly 45 pounds. So for the athletes or the clients I was training with that 1 or 2 or 3 pounds made all the difference, I would use those plates that were in my own way calibrated, if you will. So the metal plates are not 100% accurate that you're gonna get at a commercial gym. The same thing applies with bumper plates. You'll find that there is some variability in that as well, especially if these bumper plates are being used to they're being slammed on the ground, maybe there's chips of rubber missing, they may weigh a little bit different. In my experience though, maybe it's because bumper plates, generally speaking, at these gyms are newer than the old school metal plates. They do tend to be more accurate, but you're gonna see variability in both. So when people say, if it ain't steel, it ain't real, that's actually not true because a lot of these steel plates are inaccurate. Some of them are heavier and some of them are lighter. And the same thing applies to bumper plates. Now there is a time and a place to use both, but before we get into that, understand that if you're hyper concerned about the several ounce difference between plates, which is real, then you're gonna need to penny up and buy some calibrated plates. So these are extremely expensive for a couple £100, but if you're somebody that's a high-end competitive power lifter, if you're a high-end bodybuilder where a small amount of progress means a huge deal to you, penny up because you're gonna need these calibrated plates. But if you can bench 315 with metal plates, you're probably gonna bench 315 with rubber plates. If you can bench them with rubber, you can probably bench them with steel. But there is a time and a place to use steel plates versus rubber plates. So the first thing is, if you're gonna use steel plates, you probably have access to them and you're very strong. So for instance, me, when I'm max effort squatting, I literally can't put enough bumper plates on for me to hit a max squat. So while it looks cool, there's really not enough space on your contemporary bar for me to put enough 45s to get to like a mid 500 pound squat. In which case you have to use at least some steel plates. A time and place for bumper plates is if you're doing things like Olympic lifts. You're doing the clean, you're doing the snatch, you're doing the clean and jerk. Or if you're deadlifting and let's say your gym doesn't have a deadlift platform and you don't want to just like destroy your gym's floors, also a good time to use bumper plates. But again, understand that there is variability between both. So I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to measure these. I picked several random plates from the gym, some of them metal, some of them bumper plates, and you're going to see there's variability there. So again, the whole concept, if it ain't steel, it ain't real, debunked, not true. I've weighed every single plate in here and I've done it in multiple different gyms. Bumper plates are not lighter than metal plates. Metal plates aren't lighter than bumper plates. They're both pretty damn accurate, but understand that the longer they're around, the more wear and tear and the more inaccuracy you're going to get And if it means that much to you, you gotta buy some calibrated plates. So look, I hope that debunked that if it ain't steel, it ain't real myth. Do me a favor, if you learned something, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna link that how I finally benched 315 at the end of this video. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, and I will see you in the next video.